Yeah, she's pretty chunky.
Just silly, dude.
She is. It's nice to catch. And I on it. That is a beauty. Welcome back, everyone. We are back. It's been a minute since we've been here. I do apologize. We took a little bit of a break after we wrapped up the 2023 season, but we're coming back strong. Today we have the top 5 baits of 2023. We're going to count them down from 5 down to 1. I'm going to include 2 honorable mentions just because they're really cool baits and they're baits that definitely, need to be mentioned in this conversation. And I'm also going to end with one bait that we think is going to be one of the standout baits in 2024. And we're going to get started right now. Anybody who's watched channel knows that these videos are some of our most popular. They're the ones you guys look forward to when we do them, so we do appreciate that. Last year, if you guys remember, we finished up with the dipstick from Top Line Baits and the growler. The dipstick was number 2. The growler was number 1. Are they going to repeat this year? Are they going to be on the list? You guys that follow along kind of know the baits that we use, but we used a bunch of different baits this year. And as we talk through them, I'll kind of explain how we used them, where we used them, why we used them. Those of you that watch all along, you guys could probably pick, 4 or 5 of these off the top of your head. But that being said, we fished a little bit differently this year. So a couple different baits kind of stood out for us. So let's kind of count them down. We're going to start at number 5, guys. Coming in at number 5 is the SRJ from Pandemonium Tackle. When you grab a bait to start opening day of musky season and it's the first or second spot that you're on and you catch a beautiful tiger and it's on a brand new bait that you just got, you know that you're onto a good bait, and that's what the SRJ was for us. As soon as we unboxed these baits and we got them in the water, and Dave and I got some underwater footage of them, we seen that these had just that crazy little wobble to them, and we knew they were going to be something special. We knew they were going to fit our style of fishing, and a lot of people are like, it's just another dive and rise, but it's not. It's exactly what Kevin says it is. It's a slow rise jerk bait. So the beginning of the season, I threw this quite a bit, and I had a bunch of success, got a bunch of different fish early on in the season. I let guests use it. We caught walleye, bass, muskie, and pike on these things, and they're just effective everywhere. The only thing that keeps this lure from probably climbing up in this list is that over the course of the season, we started to kind of change the style of our fishing, and this lure just didn't quite follow that progression, I guess is the easiest way to put it. But if you're going to go for a jerk bait and you want something that's got that really slow rise and that really nice death pause, definitely check out the SRJ from Pandemonium Tackle.
Got it! Yes! That is a nice fish.
Coming in at number 4 is a little hybrid that we put together from 2 of our favorite baits. You could actually say it could be just the Bondy Royal Orba, or it could be the growler. But we put this together, and this is the Royal Growler. And we've talked about it in the past, taking just a Bondy Royal Orba and attaching a blade attachment to it, or attaching like the head off an Angry Dragon. That is an awesome combination as well. But there's just something awesome about the growler itself. We love that spinner bait. You guys know that. And we got Thatcher and Jody to make us some attachments that have a little bit of weight in it. It helps get that growler down just a little bit deeper. And the single blade of the growler, it just thumps like crazy. It looks amazing in the water. Check it out. We always sound like a broken record when we're talking about the Bondy Royal Orba, and yet somehow it remains like just this unknown, underrated lure, and I honestly don't know why. It's such an amazing lure. It could probably be one of our top lures every single year, But the combination of adding a spinner arm to it, and in this case, the growler spinner arm, is just absolutely amazing. And we did kind of mess around with adding the growler arm to some other rubber baits. We didn't have quite as much luck because some other baits, they want to have that dive and riser, that pop pull, and just a straight retrieve on the Bondy Royal Orba. It's absolutely money, and it's something that you guys really got to try. My buddy Mike was using this combination this summer and got 2 tigers, first 2 Canadian tigers ever. I mean, how do you beat something like that? It's just an awesome combination, you guys. It looks so good. Definitely try out the Royal Growler. When you can grab a bait and throw it, and about 25, 30 casts later, you catch a mid-40s muskie up on Shield Lakes, that means that bait's good. And what that bait was the Sunset Jailbird, Mag Dog, and I'm going to include the shallow swimming dog as well. And going to kind of change this up because it's not just about one bait or the other. It's about the color. Everybody knows how good a bulldog is. Everybody knows how good a swimming dog is. But what was really cool for us is that we had a hand in designing this color. And it was really cool talking with Brad. We thought, let's come up with a really cool color, and we'll ask you guys, our community, to name it. You guys named it the Sunset Jailbird. Pat did, and he won a free bait, kind of Forest Troubles, which was awesome. It was a huge success just having you guys included. Brad says it was a super popular color at Musky Innovation, so much so that he's updated the color for show season 2024. That's going to be out as you guys are seeing this. Definitely pick up the Sunset Jailbird at the shows this year. You guys know the Bulldogs is legendary as legendary baits get. And like I said, we had a hand in designing the Sunset Jailbird, and we also helped Brad come up with this color, which we called Carbon Perch, which again is very popular, and it's updated for show season. So if you guys are looking for some custom colors, stuff that we use, check out Carbon Perch, check out the Sunset Jailbird. And for us, the Sunset Jailbird was it was like number 3 on our list this year because we caught fish on them right out of the gate, which is awesome. You guys loved them. The public wanted them. It made us feel, like we were on the right track by picking that color. And yeah, you can't go wrong with a bulldog. You can't go wrong with a swimming dog. I don't see a lot of guys throwing this style of bait. And if you are not, you're definitely missing out. It's a bait that we use all the time, and it's such a versatile bait, and it's one that you can put in the hands of beginners and experienced anglers alike, and it's just going to catch fish all the time. So number 3 on our list for 2023 was the Sunset Jailbird, Swimming Dog, and Mag Bulldog. The top end of this list was easy. I caught fish on 2 bucktails all year. No surprise, they were both from Dadson Blade Baits. I did throw some other bucktails, did catch some pike and stuff on other baits, but of all the bucktail fish I caught, and I didn't catch a bucktail fish till well into July. We did a video, that video is right here, where we weren't sure if we were going to catch on bucktails. But back to today's kind of thing at hand here. I will say I caught a nice fish on this triple-bladed Dadson, which Johnny Dadson calls the Old McDonald. Obviously, for me,
little fish.
Cool little bait, but that's not why we're here. We're here because I used one other bucktail all year. My unofficial count, because I don't really keep count, was around 23 or 24 fish on this. This is the Blade with No Name. Absolutely nothing special about this one. Just some smoked blades. They're getting all beat up. Flashes beat up. Little red dangle blade. But these things are infamous. Everybody wants one, or at least all our followers do. And it's become the second most requested bait at Dadson Blade Baits. And it's one that I think in the new year, we're going to try and make a few more available to you guys, our followers. We're going to do some fun stuff with this bait this year, but it's just a cool bait in the water. It grinds like crazy. It catches fish everywhere we fish. Every single lake in northwestern Ontario that we go to, this thing catches fish. I have a bunch more behind me. We're going to do like a bait walkthrough, bait wall walkthrough at some point here coming up, and we'll look at a few more that I have. But this color right here, which they call Joker, which is just black with smoke with a kind of a reddy orange blade. This thing was just money all year. I mean, it's hard to go wrong with stuff that you just have confidence in. And any of these top 5 lists, it's all about confidence. What do you have confidence in? And for us, everybody knows that we always go to a blade with no name.
Another tiger. Big tiger.
Yeah.
Nice.
You can earn them. Yep, you can earn them. Big time. You're on?
You hit it on the pause. Okay, just try and bring him this way, maybe, Ryan.
Okay, guys, before we move on to number 1, I want to take a second here and talk about 2 honorable mentions. This one could have easily been in this list. This fall, the 10-inch matlock from Supernatural Big Baits, and also, I got it up there, the 10-inch jointed matlock from Supernatural. These baits just went on a tear, but this one, again, you guys that follow, this glitter perch, this orange-bellied glitter perch, 10-inch, was just absolutely amazing for us this fall. And not that I don't think a trolling bait can make our top 5 list, because I really struggled on, do I include this at number 5 or do I not? And the SRJ was just a really good bait straight out of the gate, and it was one that we could rely on early in the season, and it's just one that more of you guys will probably use if you come to Canada. But that's not to say if you're coming to Canada, you better bring a 10-inch matlock, because if you're going to do any kind of trolling, it is damn near impossible to not catch with this thing. And a little bit of a tip, we always run it on the shallowest pin setting, and we just long line it, and we try and get it down pretty deep. And on the shallowest pin setting, it gives the most amount of that classic Supernatural wander that they're known for. And again, this one could have very easily made it right into the list. So definitely check out the 10-inch matlock. So the next one I want to talk about, I only caught one small muskie on it this year, but fishing with Matt Vavrock and watching him catch fish with the Ridgeway Custom crankbait, the 9-inch, it was actually awe-inspiring to watch the fish come up and look at this bait and hammer this bait. And I started throwing it a lot. I got an absolutely monster walleye on it. I got some pike on it. I moved a ton of big fish. And I just want to include it in here because it's a bait that I'm definitely going to be, adding into my rotation more. This thing absolutely looks amazing in the water. It just got cool action. And you only got to watch like Matt Vavrock's channel, see how many he catches. Matt Ridgway's stuff, he catches a ton on them, obviously. But it's a bait that we're going to use more. And I felt that I wanted to mention it here because I did use this one a lot. Unfortunately, I didn't catch a lot, and the ones that you raise, they don't really make for great, viewing on YouTube, but it's a bait that's going to be on the channel next year. You can be sure of that.
This pumping are pretty good. Yeah, that's good to see. I was going to eat in the second turn there because he was pumping. There he is.
Coming in at an absolutely resounding number 1 is the Red October 10-inch monster tube. Any of you guys that watch channel, this thing was just lights out all year. Didn't matter what color. And it's not only just the 10-inch monster. That's the one that I like the best. Caught on the twisted tube, caught on the ninja tube, caught on the 12-inch big sexy. But if you guys are coming to Canada and you want to get one tube, just get a 10-inch monster and you absolutely can't go wrong. We do change up the harnesses and kind of rig them up a little bit different. I'm going to do a video where we talk about that over the course of the winter and show you guys kind of what I do. This is our custom color that we designed with Mark over at Red October. We didn't get these till late in the year, but they look amazing in the water. But it's not really about color with tube, it's about the action. This kind of raspberry with orange tail one caught a lot of fish for me this year as well. Caught a lot of fish from my buddy Matt and Ron. It's just such a versatile, bait, and it's one that I've resisted for a long time. We've tried similar baits, but there's just something about a tube. I don't know what it is. Check out how they look under the water. They move so effortlessly through the water. They dart, they dive, they rise, they hang, they glide. They do so much. You can rip them through weeds. You can count them down in deep water. You can use them around rocks. You pretty much do everything with it. And guys like my buddy Michael Grant has been talking about how awesome and how versatile they are for years. And I finally jumped on that train. And for me, it was the summer of the tube. David said it. Every time we went out, I was putting a tube on. There was just no question. It was my by a long shot, most confidence-inducing bait that I had this year. And that's not to say that like the blade with no name wasn't right there, because it was. When I was fishing shallower, I was using a bucktail. But when we were fishing deep, and I talked about it early in this video with the SRJ, as the summer progressed, we started fishing deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper break lines, and not even really deep, but fishing, that 10 to 15 foot range. And an SRJ, it gets down, but when the fish are a little bit neutral, you got to get that bait right in their face. And that's what we were able to do with a tube, is get that tube down in that 12 to 14 foot range and get those fish that are sitting tight to structure. We caught so many like that. We moved so many like that. It was an amazing summer of using the tube. Because when you guys come up to Canada and these big, deep, clear lakes, you have to fish deep. A lot of guys don't like to. They just want to hug the shoreline and fish the shore. And I caught them like that too. And the clip right here, we caught one with a tube casting up to the rocks right tight to shore, and then like 3 casts later we caught one on a Dadson bucktail. So they're just super versatile guys. It feels like I'm kind of preaching to the choir here. You guys know how awesome tubes are, and for me it was just like a standout bait this year, and it's one that's going to be absolutely in my arsenal next year. And it's one that I hope you guys that haven't tried it are going to try it, because I promise you, if you put a little bit of time in and get around the fact that it doesn't look like much in the water, that the fish absolutely go for these things. And if you give it a little bit of time, you guys will catch on a Red October. All right, here's the story. Dave and I are going to head out. It's early November. I get a text from Brad Rue. Hey, tracking shows that my shipment of some baits got to you guys. Go check it out. I head down to the post office. I got a box from Brad Rue, and inside that box was 4 of the brand new quad dogs. I didn't even have time to look at them. We raced out to the lake. I opened the box basically in the boat. We looked at them. I grabbed this one. It's a perch pattern with white tails, a little bit of orange, and 20 casts later, give or take, I hook into a mid-40s fish in early November in Canada. I mean, what else can you say? This bait is one of the baits that I've been looking forward to since I first heard about it earlier in the summer, and I haven't been excited about a bait like this in a long time. This bait fits our style of fishing absolutely perfect. It's heavy enough. It goes nose down on the fall, which is like a tube, which is why they're so absolutely amazing, because the fish love to hit on that fall or that pause. And this thing does that. It moves a ton of water. It looks amazing in the water. And it's just I think it's something that we're going to put some more weight on. We're going to get these down deeper. And if there was ever a bait that's built for deep fishing on shield lakes outside of like a tube, this is it. This could possibly be the number one bait for us next year. That's how excited I am about this bait. Which bait should we try in 2024? I wrote it down right there. Leave your suggestions in the comments because we want to try some new stuff for next year. Will they make the list for 2024? You just never know. But for you guys that were keeping score at home, check out the 2 videos here where we look back at our best baits of the past 2 years. And we'll catch you guys next year in the top 5 baits of 2024. Until next time, 54 Bus is out of here. We'll catch you guys out on the water later.